Okay, let's unpack this. We received some sources detailing a really unexpected situation. We're talking about a major professional basketball team and just a sudden critical breakdown of their roster right ahead of a massive matchup, too.
Right. This isn't a slow burn. It's everything hitting all at once.
Exactly.
And our goal today, our mission for this deep dive, is to figure out just how bad this is. What happens when not one, but three foundational players just disappear from the lineup at the same time?
The entire operational core.
The entire core. So we're going to assess that immediate impact and not just who is out, but actually quantify what they're losing and then connect that deficit to how they've historically performed against this, frankly, very, very tough opponent.
And the language coming from the reports is pretty stark. We're talking about the Golden State Warriors. Their injury report before the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder has, and I'm quoting here, nuked any chance of them competing.
Wow, nuked.
Nuked. And the reason is simple. Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green are all out. It leaves what the sources are calling a skeleton crew to face the league's most dominant team.
It creates this vacuum. I mean, no organization can fill that kind of hole, especially not on a few hours' notice against a title contender. When you lose that much firepower, that much basketball IQ, the whole system just grinds to a halt.
Right. So let's get past the headline and into the specifics.
Yeah.
Let's detail the injury report that created this whole skeleton crew scenario, because the reasons are all completely different.
Yeah, and it's the variety, I think, that really highlights how catastrophic the timing is.
Okay, so let's start with the biggest one. The most devastating loss has to be Stephen Curry. He's sidelined with a sprained left ankle.
Not an old issue either. This was fresh.
Exactly. It happened in their last game, that Wednesday win over Charlotte. And he was playing great. He dropped 26 points in 33 minutes right before it happened. So the star power is literally taken off the court because of an acute event.
And that injury, even if it's minor long-term, it immediately removes the gravity that defines their entire offense. He doesn't just score 26 points. His presence on the floor warps the defense and creates space for everybody else.
It's like pulling the conductor off the stage right before the show.
That's a perfect analogy.
Then you have Jimmy Butler, and his absence is completely different. Totally unpredictable. He's out with an illness. The reports say he just woke up Friday morning feeling sick, got added to the report late.
And that's the variable you just can't plan for. You can manage minutes, you can schedule rest days, but you can't schedule around the flu. So any little backup plan the coaches had for Curry's absence, now that's just been shredded.
And then there's the third piece. Draymond Green. He's out for rest. This one was planned. It was a strategic decision.
Right.
The sources are really specific here. It's for the front end of a back-to-back before a big game Saturday against Utah. So you have injury, illness, and scheduled management all converging on the exact same night.
And that cocktail, the unforeseen injury, the random illness, and the planned rest, that's what creates the nightmare scenario the source talks about. The decision to rest Green makes perfect sense in a vacuum. You assume your other stars will be there. But when Curry and Butler suddenly vanish, that logical decision becomes the final nail in the coffin for this particular game.
It's just the perfect negative storm. If Green was playing, maybe they could manage without Curry. If Butler was healthy, maybe they'd have enough offense. But losing all three for three totally separate reasons, it's not just subtraction, it feels exponential.
It is, which is why we have to actually quantify this. The names are big, but the stats behind them really show the size of the hole they're in.
Absolutely. Let's focus on those stats, and we have to start with Stephen Curry. The source highlights his incredible recent form. He was coming off what they called a monster December.
Oh, yeah.
Averaging a ridiculous 30.1 points per game for the month. He made 44 threes in December alone.
30 points a night is MVP level stuff. But let's go deeper than just the raw number. When Curry is on the court, 2, sometimes 3 defenders are basically attached to him no matter where he is. That's offensive gravity. You take that away, and suddenly the Thunder's defense can just play by the book. They don't have to worry. They can clog the paint, double team whoever's left.
And his season-long efficiency just proves the point. He's shooting almost 40% from 3, averaging almost 29 points for the year.
Yeah.
You're not just losing volume scoring. You're losing one of the most efficient offensive engines in the entire league.
Precisely. And this is where the hole gets deeper when you add in the other two. Losing Butler and Green means you have no one left who can reliably create a shot for someone else or just make the smart veteran play.
Right. Let's not forget Butler's line against Charlotte. 19 points, 7 assists, 5 boards. He's the secondary creator that's 19 points you now have to find from guys who are, designed to be third or fourth options.
But the loss of Green is organizationally crippling, especially against a team like OKC. His line was 10 points, 12 assists, and 8 boards. We need to really focus on those 12 assists. Green is their offensive quarterback from the high post and their defensive anchor. He calls out everything. When you lose his brain, his ability to read a defense and organize his own, you just lose your entire operational structure.
It's like, okay, let's use an analogy. If the Warriors are a finely tuned sports car, Stephen Curry is the high-octane engine, all the horsepower. Jimmy Butler is the high-performance transmission, reliably getting that power to the wheels. And Draymond Green is the advanced navigation and braking system, handling all the tactical and defensive control.
And for tonight's game, you're asking a driver to race that car against the best team in the world with only the chassis and the tires. The guys who are left, no matter how hard they play, are being asked to drive the car while building the engine and reading the map at the same time. It's an impossible situation.
So we've covered the who and the why. Let's pivot to the where and the when. What does this disaster actually look like against this specific opponent? The timing is just brutal. The sources make it clear this is a terrible matchup, even at full strength.
It's not just implied, it's proven. We have the data. The Warriors are already 0-2 against OKC this season, so even with the car mostly running, they couldn't get a win.
And let's look at the scores from those games. So 124-112, and then 126-102. That's not even close.
Those scores point to two huge problems. First, they couldn't keep up offensively. Second, their defense, even with their core guys, really struggled with OKC's length and athleticism. Now, take away your best scorer and your best defensive organizer from that equation, and those problems become insurmountable canyons.
And it really stings for the fans, too. All the individual matchups that are now gone. Curry doesn't get to face the reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, at home this regular season. This was supposed to be that big measuring stick game.
Yeah, and the sources remind us Curry missed this first meeting too, with a quad injury, so the fans have been deprived of it twice.
What's fascinating to me is how OKC's specific strengths are just perfectly amplified by the Warriors' weaknesses tonight.
Oh, absolutely. SGA is one of the best isolation scorers in the game. He thrives when a defense breaks down. Well, who's the guy that keeps the defense from breaking down? Draymond Green, who provides the firepower to keep pace with SGA's scoring. Stephen Curry. Without both of them, OKC can just give SGA the ball and let him systematically pick apart a completely disorganized defense.
The forecast in the sources is pretty unforgiving. It says the team is now rolling out a G League roster against the best team in the league. And the expectation is this one will get ugly fast.
The term G League roster is harsh, but it's not wrong in this context. It just means the guys playing tonight are developmental players or deep bench vets. They're not used to being the primary options. And now they have to be, against an elite, confident team that knows all the major threats are on the sideline.
The psychological edge for the Thunder must be huge. They know they don't have to chase Curry around screens or worry about Green's defense. Their whole game plan simplifies from, how do we survive this, to how quickly can we put this game away?
And that psychological part can be just as damaging as the statistical gap. When you walk on the court and you already know the odds are you're going to lose by 20 or 30 points, it's incredibly hard to maintain focus